First two episodes almost felt like they could be fit into like a two-part episode one, be like a double length introduction almost into what the series is. And I don't know, it all wrapped itself up and fit in nicely. And it presented so much and things that you can kind of look forward to going forward. But it all just felt like a connected episode one. Everything that was basically questioned and thought of at the beginning had a lot of itself answered by the back end of the second episode, which I think is great. But now that leaves us with a complete new task, and it's basically figuring out how Shinji's going to navigate himself through whatever is to come. I'm assuming angels are basically used as the enemy type that we're basically going to be going against here. So it's not just like a one-time thing, and we're going to have a variety of different, I guess, breeds of them come through and have to go against them in order to kind of protect others and continue with humanity at some other point. So I am curious, I guess, how they're going to kind of keep forcing him into doing things that he clearly shouldn't have to or shouldn't want to do. So we're just going to have to see how they push him a little bit further. Hopefully we explore some other stuff, give some answers, provide some context, and set up some things, I'm assuming, going forward here. Maybe get some answers and some things kind of revealed a little bit about like Ray and her situation and who our third child pilot could actually be. And I'm excited for all that to kind of come. If you like it all, like and subscribe do mean a lot to me. Feel free to stick around for the discussion. Leave any comments with this episode or series. Let's get going though with episode 3. I do love how quick pace the intro is by flashing so much. Oh, they give him a uniform. It does not look like he wants to be here. Or sound like it. Damn. Okay. Sounds like a lot though. I wonder if that initial minute they're saying still applies, if it actually is acting on its own almost. We'll see. A little bit down. Nice. Just light that thing up. Such a cool simulation. I'm not. Right. It's unfortunate. Yeah, as we show you, you're the one who's behind this. Yeah, he's broken. Holy shit. It's like brainwash. Repetition. We have to go to work. Wake up. More displays of him doing that. Does he go to school, or is it more of like pilot school, learning how to operate it? I guess she stays under. The penguin? No. Oh, it looks like other people, so it's like a normal school, huh? Okay. Yeah. Ah. Why is... Damn. Why? So she goes here? Okay. She just shows up beaten every day. This is awful. You meet all the people who like to do shit like that. Like they think, you know, those things are all cool and everything because they don't actually have to go through it themselves. Maybe, yeah, nobody was hurt. All right.
入間や小松だけじゃなくて、三沢や九州の部隊まで出動してんだよ。絶対。
And then he has to even hear this stuff. It gets piped into him at school too. He has to hear all of it. Ugh.
疎開だよ、疎開。みんな転校しちゃったよ。
I don't blame him.
街中であれだけ派手に戦争されちゃうね。
喜んどんなお前だけやろな。生のドンパチ見れるよって。
まあね、この間の騒ぎで巻き添えでも食ったの。
妹のやつがな。妹のやつがガルキの下敷きになってもうて命は助かったけど、ずっと入院しとんねん。あのロボットのパイロットはほんまにヘボやな。むちゃくちゃ腹立つわ。
Unreal, dude.
またが暴れてんのどないするっちゅんじゃん。
それなんだけど、聞いた？転校生の噂。
Oh, they know.
転校生？
あの事件の後にだよ。変だと思わない？
Yeah, why would anybody come here after that happened? Alright, they're cluing in a little bit. They don't see dumb. Alright.
海洋の水温は上昇し、地軸も曲がり、生物の存在をも脅かす異常気象が世界中を襲いました。そして、
Well, the class filled up a little bit.
とともに人類の半分が永遠に失われたのであります。これが世に言うセカンドインパクトであります。
Nobody is interested at all, though. Uh-oh. How do you just take that when you're there? Oh. Oh!
わずか15年で私たちはここまで復興を遂げることができた。これは
Uh-oh. 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 I'm gonna have to go back through and see what the teacher's reading here, because I literally can't keep up with that and everything else. Oh no, why would you say that? Oh no. How does he not, can he not hear? Like, what is... Love how he just continues his lecture. And they all think it's like so cool, but it's, but I can tell you? Like, why? Buddy. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, he's listening in. Leaking all the information. No, no. What is wrong with him? And of course this guy's gonna get pissed because look what happened with his sister as a result. You just brought on more trouble for yourself by even answering them. Yeah, I get it. And he doesn't know that she literally would have probably died had he not been there for it, you know? Yeah. Yo. Do you speak? Okay. Back to work. Those ones like, ugh. Huh. I like the track they're using for this. Sink the city. Prepare for war. Really cool display of it. Yeah. I mean, why would they, though? So this is the fourth one they've encountered.
今回はたったの3週間ですからね。
委員会から再びエヴァンゲリオンの出動要請が来ています。
うるさい奴らね。言われなくても出撃させるわよ。
So it makes me question once again. So would she have done it anyways because she realizes that's the only choice they have, or because I don't know.
一度だけでも見たいんだよ。
上のドンパチか？
今度いつまた敵が来てくれるかどうかもわかんないし。
ケンスケ、お前な。
この時を逃しては、あるいは永久に。
頼むよ。 ロック外すの手伝ってくれ。
外に出たら死んでまうで。
ここにいたってわかんないよ。どうせ死ぬなら見てからがいい。
Yeah, I get
何
that.
のためにネルフがおるんじゃ。
そのネルフの決戦兵器って何なんだよ。あの転校生のロボットだよ。
Yep.
あいつがロボットに乗らないなんて言い出したら俺
Right.
ら死ぬぞ。
And it's the perspective he doesn't understand
あ
or
いつの
can't
戦いを
really
見
see
守る義務があるん
probably.
じゃないのか。
しゃあないな。
Because he's probably also not aware that, like, literally not anybody else could pilot it. You know, he probably just assumes he's bad at it and he caused things that shouldn't have actually ended up happening.
発進。
Oh, it transforms.
これぞ苦労の甲斐もあったというもの。あ、待ってました。
Well, hiding these things from the public ain't gonna be that easy after this, let me tell you. Unless this kid ends up getting dead here and crushing his camera. Nice. Getting better, brother. You're getting better.
爆炎で敵が見えない。
Oh, never mind. They don't like that. They don't like that. He's moving smoother, though. Oh, no.
なんや、もうやられとるで。大丈夫。
予備のライフルを出すわ。受け取って。
Holy shit. That thing is so weird looking. It's kind of a really cool design, though. Like, that's awesome.
アンビリカルケーブル断線。
Alright, we got a minute.
エヴァ、内蔵電源に切り替わりました。
活動限界まであと4分53秒。
But if he moves a lot more, speeds that up, right? Unless I was misunderstanding it.
こっちに来る。
Bro! You're just gonna have a giant imprint in the mountains. How are you gonna explain that?
問題なし。行けます。
Oh no, no. Nice. They'll be thankful for you if you can protect them somehow.
僕らがここにいるから。
Yeah, get the fuck out of
動け
here.
ないんだ。
初号機活動限界まで。
Now his reasons for everybody needs to see this, we should be out here doing this, is starting to be showing, like, maybe you shouldn't. Let them in?
2人を回収した後、一時退却。出直すわよ。許可のない民間人をエントリープラスに乗せられると思っているの？
We want them just to
私は
die?
許可します。
Okay.
偏見行為よ、桂木チー。そこの2人、乗って、早く。
He'll get used to it.
今よ、交代して。
Ooh.
回収ルートは34番。山の東側に交代して。
逃げろ言うとるで。転校生。
Reinforce the things you were told before. But he's not necessarily just following orders anymore, huh?
新宿、命令を聞きなさい。退却よ。新宿。
Buddy.
あのバカ。
Ah. Holy fuck. I love the screaming too.
初号機活動限界まであと30秒。28、27、26。
And now they see the fucking horrors that you're going through. Come on. Come on. Oh. She's like, you crazy bastard, you fucking did it. Ugh. What do you do with them now that they've been exposed, now that they're aware of these things?
で、もう3日
Assuming he hasn't been back.
俺たちがこってりと叱られてから。
Hmm.
あいつが学校に
Yeah.
来んようになってからや。
あいつって？
転校生や転校生。
How did you not
あ
clue
れから
in?
どないしとんのやろ。
心配なの？
別に心配っちゅうわけや。
当時は不器用なくせに強情だからね。
Mm-hmm.
あの後別れ際にでも謝っておきゃ3日も悶々としなくて済んだのに。ほら転校生の電話番号。
How did you get
心配だ
that?
ったら
I guess you're just like our super hacker guy who can like figure everything out that normal people shouldn't. Finally, he'll get a call onto his cell phone, right? I think this episode's pretty awesome for the way that it's able to kind of implement the other characters and start introducing in causing and giving cause almost for development to come. We don't, I think, really play into anything like too much to a point that I'm going to sit here for another like 30 minutes and have to really discuss it. It's more so confirming almost the thoughts and feelings and everything I had about Shinji, the direction that we'll be dragging his character and some of the side characters and things leading up to the events of this. And then it can kind of start exploring a bunch of other aspects that kind of go along with it. And I think that's really cool. It's similar to, as I said in the opening, it's like we had a two-parter that basically could have been condensed to be a one like extended episode, episode 1 type of thing as an introduction. And then now we can slow things down a little bit and start pushing you through and developing the characters themselves and the story and a whole bunch of stuff that's coming along for the future. And I think that's good. We get like our first introduction to Rei, really, like where she actually gets like a voice line and everything this episode. We get to see almost feelings and stuff a little bit more behind a lot of the other characters. We get to see the actual effects and the things that it's taking on to Shinji and the way that all of these issues and things that have been piling up throughout the initial fight that happened and, you know, the ways that he's feeling, we're starting to see a lot more into his own mind and his inner thoughts about these situations and the type of thing that kind of comes out of him. I mean, we even get to see at the end, he's able to win a fight. This is the first time. It's a huge accomplishment, I would say. The first time that we see it in the last episode, he struggles to even take a step forward. He completely loses this fight. He has to go berserk, right? He has to be completely in this unconscious state for this thing to take over and actually do the job for him. And there's nothing that he can do. But now on the flip side, we have this episode, weeks and weeks of training. They end up showing up, and at this point when we have another angel show up, we're able to properly move and properly function. We're able to use weaponry, and we're able to do all of this as a result of the effort and hard work and training and stuff that Shinji's putting in to ultimately get a victory by the back end, right? And that's a huge accomplishment that can kind of come with it, and we can already see him overcoming in the growth and stuff that's coming as a result of all of this, which is really great. But at the same time, we get to see almost the loss that he kind of is experiencing, right? The loss of his own free will, the loss of him making his own decisions, or the loss of him and his own sanity in a way, right? Like completely losing it and being so absorbed in the situation and the things that are happening that we get these terrifying screams coming out of him, right? These terrifying moments of him just completely losing it and feeling like he has to do these things. There's nothing else that he can do. He can't run away. He can't give up on these situations. And I love that line of him muttering back to himself at the end of like, I can't give up. I have to, like, I can't give up. Can't run away. Can't run away. And as he was saying earlier, and we had a lot of repeating lines earlier where they were basically telling him things that he needed to do. And he's like kind of repeating it in his mind as if like, okay, I can't forget this, but it's also almost like a form of like brainwashing. He gets this thing kind of that's a hold of him, or he gets put in the scenario and he thinks about like what he's been told and taught to do almost. And that's the only thing that he can kind of keep on his mind. So as we go into the later half of the episode, when he gets put in that position and he's like sitting there and he is like, I can't, like, we're out of time. They're telling me to retreat. But the thing is, he's constantly heard Masato in the past talk about him running away. He's heard his dad and the others kind of involved yelling at him about running away and not being a man and all these other things that come along with it, right? And he knows what that feeling is like and how, I guess, demoralizing almost he ends up feeling after these people kind of put him down by the words that they choose. And ultimately it gets like enough in his head and messes with him enough that it's like, I don't want to hear that, right? I don't want to have to be in that situation. And despite what they might be telling me now, when I come back, it might revert to that. And then they're going to tell me I'm a failure. And then everything else explodes, right? Then you start thinking about all the other situations that just unfolded as well. All the other people that you've heard around you that have lost people close to them, that have had people still injured, such as the classmates and everybody else that he's kind of met throughout this episode. The people in the convenience store that he ended up hearing or overhearing the other day. The firsthand experience of seeing somebody like Ray end up bleeding as a result of the situations on hand, right? And knowing that he's the one who will be responsible and held responsible for those things. If I run away, I'm the one who's going to be responsible for tons and tons of people possibly dying and being harmed in the process. I can't run away. And it just constantly, all that feeds into reinforcing, like, I have to do this thing, but I don't want to do this thing. And then it once again comes back to all the other words that he's heard from Masato and his dad and everybody about his, own position and the things that he's in. And he's like, okay, well, I can't revert to that either, so I have to just do this. And it's like terrifying screams over and over of somebody who clearly doesn't want to be in this, and he is using basically everything that he has. He's completely broken. He doesn't even, basically can't even comprehend the state that he's in almost. And I wouldn't even be surprised if this isn't a version. We see the last time he basically goes unconscious and the Eva itself goes berserk, right? And that's what they describe it as. I wouldn't be shocked if this is a situation while he's fully conscious, he ends up being the one who ends up going berserk in this moment, right? And as a result, he ends up being able to defeat this angel, which is kind of crazy. And it made for a really, really great sequence. I can't say I love the fight in the way that it kind of all went about, but I absolutely loved the finishing moment for it, and him basically just putting this knife into what I would assume would be the core of the thing, which is this ball, this orb almost. So finding that spot, and I don't know if it's the same on every one or what it is, but finding that core, basically stabbing it or shooting it or doing whatever he has to, and causing enough damage to a point that it can no longer power on or do anything for the rest of the unit, forcing it to kind of shut down and no longer be able to probably regenerate or do anything, and it causes us to win, is essentially what I'm seeing out of it. So I thought that moment was really, really good, but that's okay. I'm here more so for the journey of the characters and a whole bunch of stuff that's going to go on there. And that's kind of how I am with a lot of shows. Action and stuff's cool, but I'm never I don't know, I'm usually too impressed by a lot of sequences. It really has to be something spectacular for me to be completely mind blown by an action sequence. I don't know what it is about me. I get more excitement and things going on with me about when characters have these crazy revelations and stuff, as opposed to when I just see these cool explosions and people hitting each other and stuff. I don't know what it is, but that stuff really, really drives me. I'm a story guy, but I absolutely thought it was a great sequence to be able to display it. I do want to talk about his classmates and stuff, but I'd rather skip through here and talk a little bit about this stuff first, and then we'll advance into that more. This is constant training and reinforcement of everything that you need to do. This is where all that brainwashing kind of comes in. This is where they kind of hammer it into him, and he hammers it into himself about what it is that he has to. He's not willingly doing any of this. He's being forced to, constantly wondering too, why am I the one who's doing this? My dad's not even around anymore. And they're still forcing me to do this. And they're still expecting this of me. He's not even the one here to enforce that. And it's really sad to think about, right? He doesn't even need to be around because he doesn't necessarily even care, and you're just really seeing just how much you're being used by the others, which is really, really unfortunate. I love the simulation that they can put him into and do this to make him feel like he's actually doing this. I think that's awesome. And then we begin a little bit with his school life that is to come. Basically, Masato talks about how she got him a phone and everything because she felt bad and she wanted him to be able to talk to people and have his friends and do all this, but nobody's even made an effort to even reach out and call him or anything, and he has no friends, it seems like, and she's kind of feeling a little bit bad about that. And it makes you really start seeing, it seems like she does care for him, and I know I've been questioning her and her motivations and stuff a lot, but we can even see in moments like this where it gets dropped because she no longer has to put up an act when he's not around. She does seem to be genuinely concerned about certain things about him, and he wants him to live this life the best that he can, while at the same time having to unfortunately go through all this pain that they're putting him through, which is a little sad, but at the same time, it's a little, she's in a tough position, I would say. We end up going to school. Ray's going to school. It's crazy how none of the kids pay any attention or seem to care at all about all the injuries and things that she has. She's clearly that loner. I mean, I felt like that was easily a vibe that you could get. She's somebody who's a little bit more soft-spoken, doesn't really, associate with others that much or anything, and probably isn't too expressive or anything like we've ended up seeing with like Masato or something. So I don't know. We'll see more of her hopefully in the future. We get a little bit from her this time, but hopefully we continue to. I mean, I know for a fact we're definitely going to, just because I've seen so much and so many people like her that she definitely has to be important in some way going forward. But we'll end up seeing that. I really love the uniforms too. For the guys, it's a little simple, like it's just white shirt, pants and whatever, like it's nothing crazy, which is why I wasn't too certain, because Shinji literally wears this stuff all the time, so I thought that this was just his normal clothing, but I guess not. But the girls' uniforms and everything I think are really, really nice. I like them. We get introduced to Toji, and I can't remember the other guy's name, or if they even said it, but they're basically our main two guys that we're going to be dealing with here, at least this episode, and probably a little bit going forward. One of them is so intrigued by absolutely everything that goes on, right? He is somebody who wants to have all of these secrets and the things that are being hidden by the government and hidden from the people, right? He wants all of that to be exposed, and he wants them to be on the same playing field and have the same level of knowledge and everything as the others. This is a huge historic thing. This is something that you want to look back on, and you want to have footage of, and you want to have open discussions about, and be able to see all these things sometime in the future. And if we're kind of silencing the people and we're hiding and lying to them, what good is that going to end up being? And it's a good idea, right? Like, it's not a bad mindset for somebody to have, but at the end of the day, it's something that's so beyond the comprehension of normal people to be able to even understand the situations that they're being put in, that it makes zero sense to actually openly display that to others. And it's understand and justified as to reasons why they're hiding that, but also understandable as a kid I'm assuming they're in high school. I'm guessing probably like beginning first year it would be my guess. I don't know. It would make sense too why he'd be so openly intrigued into learning these things, but also can't fully grasp all of that just because he's not developed enough and matured enough to be able to understand that. The other guy takes on more of the approach of like, I'm strong, I can just beat people up, I can do all these things. He's like one of those types of characters. He's like the jock, the one that everybody seems to like, very popular with people, but for whatever reason he's got that soft side to him, right? And he can't help but feel bad for other people, or like wanted to help other people, and it's just kind of like naturally within him, and we get to see that kind of exposed and developed a little bit as time goes. He's like very hot-headed with a lot of things, but at the same time he does have some feelings deep down about things. We start questioning Shinji, his reasons for coming to school. This is more, I mean, he has his earbuds in, but I'm assuming this is more of an example of like what I said before about he's hearing all these things around him about the way that other people are kind of seeing him and perceiving him in the situations and things that kind of have come about. And that's where we end up learning things about how Toji ended up having his sister get harmed in the incident that happened the other day. So, and the pilot that was doing it is absolutely stupid and an idiot and doesn't know what he's doing, and he's causing harm to tons of other people, when he should be the one out there protecting them and stuff. And it's like, yeah, these are things that are going to really feed into the issues that are going to come later on, right? And it's something that, of course, he's not going to be able to understand. He doesn't understand that only kids can pilot these things. He doesn't understand that Shinji's the only one who can pilot this thing, and it's the only reason that, you're probably even alive at this point. Like, there's these things that, of course, he's not going to be able to comprehend. Nobody else can, and it just goes back to what the other kid was saying about, like, how they're censoring all these things and not showing you and telling you about these things. So, of course, he doesn't fully understand that, and he's just going to be angry about the situation and the person who's kind of in charge and the people who are doing all these things, and it makes sense. They start questioning, and they're really smart about it, about how he was just transferred, and what sense does it make to transfer a kid to a city, especially in like an area that is completely getting like destroyed over and over, as all these kids are constantly transferring out and doing things. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that, right? It starts being added up by all of them and being like, I wonder if he has something to do with the new pilot and the new like machine and everything that we were able to just see, or that we heard about like in this new incident, right? Like, I wonder if he's related in some sort of way. So it tracks and makes sense to the point that when they later bring it up about asking him if he was the actual pilot for it, all that kind of makes sense, or makes enough sense to me about the curiosity of like what exactly it is that he would transfer and come in at this exact situation in an area that absolutely nobody wants to continue to stay in, or like, why would anybody come here at this point in time? It just doesn't make sense. So for them to have that weird suspicion is not too far-fetched at all for me to understand. And basically, I guess they have these computers. I don't know if this is a normalized thing and like something that's actually the case. I'm not familiar, but basically they have these computers, and they can just kind of type on them and like talk and communicate amongst each other, while the teacher's basically explaining like this entire situation and all these things that are going on and all the people that were lost and all the lives and everything, all the stuff that happened, and probably like big important things for us to understand. I'm assuming they're all just chatting on here and talking, and basically asks him, are you the pilot of this? For whatever reason, he answers and he's like, yes, I am. Like, are you not aware this is classified things and you probably shouldn't be saying that? Like, to me, that makes sense. So I don't really understand his logic or reasoning behind any of that, but whatever. So of course, all the kids get happy and they completely swarm around him. It is interesting to note a few of the people just don't. I mean, Rey clearly doesn't take an interest in it because she's well aware of the situation already, and she probably doesn't associate with others like that anyways. But it's interesting to note the girl in the front too, for not even turning or taking note of the situation. I don't know why that is. It's almost like she doesn't care. Maybe it's just like me overreading it and she's just like so focused on school and stuff anyways, like that she doesn't like want to be interrupted and she's actually focusing on what the professor's saying. But I don't know. It's just weird that everybody else in the shot is turned towards him except for the one who clearly already knows about the situation and the other who we don't know anything about. I don't know. It's just worth noting, I guess. But he starts taking in all the information that he can hear that Shinji's kind of giving out about things, of course, because he wants to leak and like expose all these things because he thinks it all should be public knowledge. And I completely do get and understand that. Where is Toji in that shot, actually, now that I think about it? Because he's in the classroom. Was he even there? Oh, is he in the seat behind the girl in the back? I wonder why he's hidden. Whatever. We go outside. He starts beating the shit out of Shinji. I understand that. I don't take an issue with him doing this at all. Not understanding the full context to the situation. I mean, he could have given him the chance to explain it, maybe. But not understanding that, thinking that he's the person who's responsible for his sister in this whole situation that happened. Not thinking things through enough to understand that likely everybody would have died if it wasn't for him, because he probably just assumes there'll be other pilots or other people and things that can, you know, come in and help and take control of this, and not realizing that it's only him and he's the only one, and without him everybody would have died and all this stuff, right? Like, he doesn't comprehend all that, and I get that. He doesn't really think anything through, and of course he has to be calmed down by the other guy and he has to let him know. Rey comes up. This is the first time that we'll ever hear anything from her. Lets us know that there's going to be an emergency call coming in, and he's going to fucking start running and going to do this thing. And then we see a new angel appear. They call it the fourth one. I'm assuming that means the fourth one that they've ever encountered, or that they've encountered since whatever has occurred. And we've seen, this is the second one that we've seen. So I'm guessing that's the situation. The city transferring and going and reverting itself back under and everything, and is really fucking cool. And I love the way that all of that was kind of displayed. And then us showcasing the bunker and the things that where they just get kind of locked in and there's nothing that they can do. Also pretty cool. I like just the general display of that. The guys end up going out and talking about the whole situation and thinking like, okay, this is our chance. We can sneak out of this and get firsthand like experience, and we can record this and expose all the stuff that's going on. And we can also see what they're trying to hide from us, which is not a smart thing at all. We don't want that to happen. We end up resolving it much different than I expected to actually happen. I thought that he was just going to like get some footage, dip out, and then expose it to everybody, but that's definitely not going to happen anymore. Shinji is shooting this thing. We get to see lots of progress. He's actually moving properly in it. He can use the gun. He can do all of this stuff, but mentally he's having a lot of problems on the inside, unfortunately, and it's causing him to go a little bit insane while he's in there. At this moment, he gets launched back right where his two classmates end up being, and Masato makes the decision at this point that we can't just let these kids die. We can't let them just roam free. We have to bring them in this moment, and they end up allowing him to come inside, and they get to firsthand witness the situation that Shinji is a part of. Also, they mentioned like the liquid and like everything when they got like initiated within the thing, so I wonder if the camera's fucked up or not. Like, and he can't use it and he doesn't have any of this stuff anymore, and then they'll just have to remain silent. I don't know. But this goes with the conversation she was having earlier about him struggling to make friends and how people kind of come along and how you have to like harm others almost along the way, or you have to like invite them almost into a space that's like uncomfortable and unpleasant for them to be a part of, for them to get that glimpse into you and understand you a little bit, and it allows you to kind of bond and grow closer over time. And we firsthand get to see that with Shinji's like crazy screams that he has and the absolute terror and just fear that's going through him, and they all get to kind of witness that and understand this isn't a fucking joke. This isn't the situation that the things that we were so fascinated by. This isn't the same exact scenario that we envisioned in our head and why we were so angry about the whole situation beforehand. This isn't any of that, and they aren't really able to understand that until they get into this moment. And even this, they don't understand exactly what's going on, but they can understand enough to know, like, he's not lying about saying I didn't want to be here. He's not in a position of somebody who's like willingly wants to be here. He's not somebody who's in the right headspace to even be doing this. And we end up seeing that. The hand getting burned and like all this stuff happens. Shinji's like screaming as the stuff goes down, but he's not like reacting to a point that he's like grabbing his hand or holding it, or like we're seeing any like actual physical attempts or any of these things. So I don't know if it's like him overcoming the initial mental things that he was going against, where he was seeing these things or feeling these things and these effects actually happening to him, or if the effects that are actually occurring onto the Eva isn't actually occurring to him. I don't know. Still, I'm a little uncertain on that whole situation and how they're two connected and related, but I guess we'll develop that a little bit more. Ultimately, he says fuck it, even though they tell him that he needs to retreat, and he just runs forward and he stabs this thing right in the core, and he holds that thing as long as he can with the most terrifying screams, and ultimately we're able to shut the thing down. Everybody is able to fully understand, like, this is not at all what we pictured beforehand, and this is such an awesome shot. Ultimately, we wrap things up. We end up getting to see Toji's a little upset. He feels a little bad, of course, about, not a little bit, he definitely feels really bad about the whole situation, and definitely wants to see that Shinji's okay and that he can probably apologize to him and all of this. But at the end of the day, he hasn't been around the school. What the hell is he supposed to do now? And we end up getting a phone number for him that we can end up calling here. And then he ends up picking it up and then he runs away. So I guess he ends up not calling him in that moment. And we'll end up seeing what happens a little bit further on. But it's nice to know that we at least initiated something where we got a friend involved in some sort of way. Then somebody came in and answered, or somebody came in and might end up calling at some point. Really cool shit. Liked it a lot. Very excited to see us explore things a little bit more. I need to know a lot more about Rei. I would love to maybe get a little bit more into Shinji's mindset. Like, we understand, I feel like, what's going on with him, but more so just like from his own perspective of how he feels, and whatever else I guess that they decide for us to end up seeing and them to end up showing us throughout this. But I'm excited to see what's to come. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you liked it, all hit the like and subscribe. They do mean a lot to me. Feel free to check out the videos in the channel. Let me know comments of this particular series. I'll be back for episode 4 very soon. You guys have a good one though. Peace.